And happy Friday. Welcome, everybody. It's good to have you here. Hopefully, you have had a chance to kind of go through some of the material we left off last week on number 4. We're on number 5. So let's start off first. I'm going to have Techie, if you wouldn't mind. I'm going to share the culture item and see if you'll read that for me.
Yeah. I'll read it right now.
Yep, we are ready.
Awesome. We are an employer of choice, partnering with employers of choice. We are the leader in human capital solutions through customer alignment, innovation, and performance. We understand how our clients see value. We align to that and communicate and deliver value as they see it. And these are our margin goals.
Those have changed, so you don't have to read them.
Okay.
I need to update them, but that's good. Thank you. Good. I figured since we were doing employer of choice this last week and this week that would be an appropriate part for us to share and to start off with. So hopefully you had a chance. Last week we talked about having you go into, and just as part of your assignment this week, to think about the hero's path and the coach's path, kind of where you align, kind of where, and we get into it a little bit in this one. Obviously, when we get down in further into the books and stuff, we'll be getting into it in more detail. But I want you to be prepped for it. I want you to be thinking about it, and just, you know, kind of where your path is. What does that look like? What are you striving for? You know. So anyway, that's good. Let's get into. Let me just share the next document here so we can get started. Any questions before we get going? While I do that. Okay. So we are on mechanism number 5 in community. So let's talk a little bit about what that means. I'm going to pick on some other people, but I'm going to pick on you while I have you here. Will you read A, B, and C of mechanism number 5?
Yeah. So Tribery, we expect each employee to log in, look around, and engage twice per week. Be gun shy. We never treat another person, including ourselves, in a manner that makes them feel small. We lift one another to have a richer, more fulfilling life instead of feeling inferior or superior to anyone. Treat all with kindness and respect. We are one. Orientation, onboarding, integration, renewal.
Okay, good. So as we think about like Tribalry, are all of you on Tribalry? Everybody in there? You've done your profile, you've put your bucket list, you have all that good detail. This is how one of the ways, not the only way, but this is one of the ways we get to know each other. This is how we, you know, see our tribe, how we understand, you know, how we become part of that community. And how many of you have gone in and, you know, put in for an auction to try and win something? Okay, good. You know, when we go in and when we engage with other people or in those different groups, what happens? What do we get when we engage?
Points.
Points, coins.
Coins, yeah.
We get coins.
Yeah.
That's how we buy stuff on the auction. So, I mean, that's fun. It makes it kind of fun, and it gets us engaged in the discussions and so forth. So we want people to be involved in that and, you know, be working on, you know, what do we do? How do we do this? Okay. Then we talk a little bit about Genshai. We've talked about that, you know, many times. We've read that in part of our culture piece, the way we treat and respect other people. And, you know, just how we do our orientation, onboarding, integration, and renewal with people that we bring on board in our company. This is all part of the community. It's all part of how we build the community and continue to make it better. So So that's really good. Any questions on community? Any comments? Okay. Jason, let's have you do mechanism number 6, talent density. Do A and B.
Okay. Elite performers who want to work with other elite performers. We want to do the best work with the best people. Always hiring and top grading. Always recruiting and interviewing for internal staff. Constant fresh water.
So elite performers who want to work for other or with other elite performers. Your son plays professional baseball,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Do you think he wants to play with other elite performers?
Yes, he does.
Why? Why? What does that
Well,
do?
It makes him better and it makes the team better. You know, if somebody's pulling you down, the team doesn't perform, and it can just be one guy. And so he always wants the best behind him, especially because he's a pitcher. And so you want elite performers behind you, because if they make an error or drop a ball or make a mistake, that can hurt, you know, his stats. It can hurt his ERA. It can hurt all sorts of things. And so he's trying to get better and better and better to get to the top. So he needs elite performers around him at all times.
Yeah. And how good is it to be on a team and you're the only elite performer and everybody else sucks? You know,
sucks.
It doesn't work well.
Mm-mm.
So we want to have the best people and work with the best people. So
Yeah.
we want to think about that as we hire for talent density. We're always hiring and top grading. That means we're trying to continually find the best in our industry and what we do within specific job titles and so forth. Okay, Shantae, will you read C and D?
$1 million metric, percent of key seats filled with right people for those seats, seeking greater than 90%. What are our key seats? How do we define those seats? What is green and clean? Every manager must define what the key seats under them are and why, I think is what that's supposed to say.
Uh-huh.
What does success look like in that role? Both inputs and or actions and outputs and or results. Right person equals X factor plus star chart, alignment on and Y axis of culture and performance, career progression. We will create 2 career pathways, the hero path and the coach path. Heroes are elite performers, coaches are elite leaders.
Okay, thank you. So here we go. We've got some very specific things as managers. What are we to be hiring for? We want to make sure that, you know, we're seeking 90% of the seats filled with the right people. Now, you don't have to answer this out loud, but do you have 90% of the people that you're leading in the right positions, in the right seats? Are they the right people? Okay, so good question to ask yourself. Are my seats filled with the right people? And if not, then, you know, what do we do? How do we make that happen? You as well as, you know, all of us, we need to define what those seats look like. I think Joe described green and clean. I can't remember if it was you, but pretty sure you're the one that defined green and clean when we talked about that last. We have talked about the star chart and what that looks like. Ted gave a really great discussion on that, which I thought was good. But what do the roles look like? The inputs, the actions, the outputs, the results. We need to be aware of what that looks like when we hire people. Okay. Any thoughts on that?
I could probably add one small thing there.
Sure.
It's important that we identify the outcomes rather than identify the steps to get the outcomes.
Correct.
I mean, there's a million ways to do anything, and your genius and their genius happens in the how. not necessarily in the in the how. So give them important things to do and let them surprise you with their results. That's the point, right? Is it's an amazing thing when you can say, this is where we need to get to, and what are 20 ways that we can get to that outcome, and then what are the best ways to get to that outcome. I really feel like that is a strong thing to make sure that you do need to give instruction, and you need to show them what green is, you need to show them what clean is. But when you do that, let them surprise you with their results and the ways and the creativity that they can come up with, which is so much more fulfilling work when you do that.
What happens, Joe, when we don't hire elite performers, when we don't hire up top grade, or we don't hire for talent and strengths? Is it harder for them to get to that expectation if we've got the wrong people in the seat?
Well, I think that the answer to that is absolutely, right? But to elaborate on that, I think I'm hearing what you're saying is your job is a million times harder when you have individuals that, and I usually call it these three things. Do they get it? Do they want it? Do they have the capacity or ability, right? Is because if they don't get it, right, it's like, all right, can you show them what green and clean is? Maybe, but if they don't want it, you can't want it for them. And if they really, after looking at this, if they don't have the capacity to execute or capacity to understand what's required, we have to make other decisions and help them play where they're going to succeed, or help them move on to other opportunities.
Right. Right. So again, it's very important for us, if we want to be able to get out of their way and let them show us, how they get to the outcome, we need to hire the right people in order to do that. Otherwise, we're going to have somebody that just doesn't have a clue, and it's not going to work well. So hiring for talent and strengths are going to be extremely important for us, when we are going to do some of these things that we're doing. It just doesn't work without that. So very good. Thank you. And then we talked about career progression. Remember, I said last week to take a look where you're at. Heroes are elite performers that want to just do their thing and be their thing. This is their path. This is what they want. And we should give them a path. We shouldn't make it so that people think, well, the only path that I have is to, be a leader and climb the corporate ladder. That's wrong. That's part, if that's what you want, great. But that shouldn't be expected. Coaches are elite leaders. So we should develop paths for people based on their strengths, their talents, and their goals that they have and things that they want to do. So we should give people a career progression, and it shouldn't be, well, you're a salesperson and your career progression would be to be a leader, and we don't have any other progression other than you just got to sell. And, but what does that look like for a salesperson coming in? What is the path, a hero's path for them, that doesn't necessarily include a leader or a coach path? Okay. So again, you've kind of thought about that. We'll talk about that in more detail as we get into that next piece. So, all right. Mechanism number 7, measuring our culture, employee engagement. And it says, I have a lot of information from this stuff in the employee engagement document, which we've already gone through. So we talked a couple of weeks ago about the Q12 in pretty good detail. All of you took the Q12. All of you talked with your people about Q12. So I think that's great. I'm not going to get into that one at the moment. I think that we've covered that pretty good, but we'll get into Q12 again later on, again in more detail. Okay. Let's see. Mariah, will you read letter B and then A, B, and whatever's underneath all of that?
Okay.
where it says managers must become coaches.
Managers must become coaches to bring the best out of their team, not to drag out performance. When giving direct feedback, constructive feedback, or confronting the brutal facts, all in the spirit of candor, remember Genshai and TKN. Is it true, kind, necessary, or relevant to share? Managers seek to speak last, invite different opinions, make it safe to go against the grain or think differently or have a different opinion, and push team members when there appears risk of the group thinking or not all sharing ideas and opinions.
Okay. So when we think about managers and giving feedback and talking with people, again, remember, we talked about candor last week. We have mentioned Genshai many, many times. And those things are very, very, very important when we have, frank discussions, brutal facts, constructive feedback. We want to be, make sure that we're in that frame of mind when we do that. What does it mean that managers seek to speak last? How many of you would struggle with that as a manager? What does that mean? That you seek to speak last? Anybody? Joe?
I think we're all trying to be the one to speak last here, so that's why you're not getting participate.
Okay.
So, that was too easy, by the way. Give me a hard one on that one. I'm probably the most guilty of this, because it's this natural thing of ideas just like they flow. But I heard this interesting thing not too long ago, and it was, if you are thinking of what you're going to respond, if you are thinking of what it means, if you are thinking, not necessarily thinking of what it means, but there you go, Shane, exactly. But if you're thinking about those things instead of just listening, you're not listening. And so don't seek to respond, seek to listen and seek to hear and seek to understand. And if you do that, that is, I think, the secret of waiting. Now, it's easier to say all of this than it is to practice it, right? But the point is listening to what someone is hearing or what someone is saying isn't the same thing as also hearing what they're saying.
Yeah, very
And
good.
so the goal, I would say, is to hear what they're saying, fully hear what they're saying.
Yes. And I think that's really important. And thank you for the other comments. Ashley can't speak, but so she's typing in. But and I was going to mention Covey's piece. Again, it's so important. If you just get that piece, first seek to understand, and then to be understood. And what Joe is saying, is exactly that. Listen. Again, this, and you've all heard this. We were given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So we would listen twice as much as we speak. And so we should really work on that, work on understanding first when we're having discussions. It's so easy to jump in with a solution or, whatever you're going to do. It's so easy to do that. Salespeople have a tremendously hard time not pitching. They don't listen, they pitch, and they jump in on every statement and say, hey, we have a way to solve that. That is wrong. We need to listen and understand, and then we can seek to be understood. Okay. And any other thoughts or questions on that? Okay, good. All right. So there are going to be differing opinions. We know that, and it's okay. We want that. It's something that we strive for. So we definitely want to make sure that we put ourselves in that position to listen carefully and understand and listen to the differing opinions. Your way is not always the right way. It's not your way or the highway. It's, there are other ways to do things, and we need to listen to those. Okay, so how are we an employer of choice, and what type of employer of choice are we striving to be? So let's just go through some of these. Let's just take turns just kind of reading them, and we can talk about this. I love this first one. You need to know this very first one, okay? It's something that is so valuable, and it's the whole key behind everything we're teaching in this class. So Ashley Hosang, will you please read number 1 for us?
Of course. We have and are great managers. The 4 keys of management: select talent, hire by talent, not experience, education, etc. Set expectations, define the right outcomes, not the steps. Motivate your people. Focus on strengths, not mitigating weakness. Develop your team members. Help them to find the right fit for them, not the next rung or ladder, sorry.
So again, this is what great managers do, okay? I want you to remember this. I want you to engrave it into your mind up there. This is what great managers do. They select talent, okay? They select for talent. They set expectations. They motivate their people, and they develop their team. That's your job as managers. That's what we do. And we need to understand that process. There's some details underneath it, of course, but that's the simple basic steps, the 4 keys of management, the what great managers know and what great managers do. Okay. Arturo, will you read number 2?
Yes. Are we guarding our borders to keep people in or out? High retention of top talent. We want to robust immune system to protect our culture from people that don't fit.
So what does that mean, Arturo? And anybody else can jump in too. What does that mean that we're going to guard our borders? What does that mean? You just read it.
For me, what it means is we have a team of good apples, right? And if we bring a bad apple, it's just gonna infect the rest of the good apples. And we want to protect our good apples, so our culture and values always stay where they have to be.
Yes. So it can be a cancer. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Who is it?
If you think of it's me. If you think
Okay.
of the United States, is it hard to leave the United States? It really isn't. You can just walk across the border if it's one of the borders here, but it's not that easy to get in. And so I think you can evaluate a lot about the country, about whether people are they trying to keep people in, like nobody can leave, or are they trying to keep people out, like, hey, we're going to be very careful about who we let into our country, or in our case, into our company. And I think that's in your body, that's the point of an immune system. And I think that's part of our process to protect our culture and to protect our team, is we need to have a company immune system to help keep out things that don't fit and aren't the right things to be in our company. And then also a role of an immune system is to, if you do make a mistake, and you do get laryngitis or something in your body, you fight it and kind of expunge it, which sounds a little aggressive when it's dealing with people, but it kind of has to be that if it's a wrong fit, we ought to be aggressive and move quickly to just let both the company and then the wrong person move on with their life.
Yeah. No, that's really good. It's a good analogy. And so we do have 2 sides. We're trying to keep good people in, and we're trying to keep the wrong people out. And so we want to make sure that happens. Charles, you had a comment?
Yes, we talk about it mentions high retention of top talent. So I look at it as, a strong retention strategy starts in the hiring process, So when you find the right job in the right culture, for that right person, numbers generally shows and states they stay. So when I see high retention of top talent, I kind of think of that, the retention strategy, finding the right job, the right culture. And that's something we stress a lot is our culture. So that's what my takeaway from that is.
Yeah, and when we're interviewing people for positions in our company, we should be talking about our culture. We should be talking about some of the things we do, and we should be protecting, and we should let people know, this isn't a fit for everybody. And, it's okay if it's not a fit for you. We will protect our culture and our company, and the things that we're doing. We want the right people in our company. Those are questions we need to be asking, and we need to ask ourselves, is this person going to be the right fit? They may be a superstar, for example, a superstar salesperson, but they don't fit in our culture. We just cannot afford to ruin everything, so we have to be really careful when we're interviewing and hiring people. Okay, Charles, will you read number 3 for us?
Yes, sir. Number 3, people want to work here and are naturally attracted to us. Recruiting is easy and we get to pick from the best of the best.
And that, again, that's part of becoming an employer of choice, because people will be attracted to us. Will you also read number 4?
Yes, number 4, talent density. We have the best people and they love working together.
Okay, so again, think about that. Is that happening? Is it happening to the level that we want it to be? It's not, but we're working on it. We're striving for it. That's the whole goal behind this, is that we're trying to make that happen. So we just keep at that and keep looking and working towards hiring for talent density. Okay, John, do you want to read number 5, and let's do number 6. We got a few of these, so number 5 and number 6.
Okay, no problem. Let's see. Employees are highly engaged and they each contribute with discretionary effort, heart, mind, spirit. And we see the whole person, heart, mind, spirit, conscience, part of the 8th habit.
Yep, from Covey. So again, highly engaged. Do you realize how few people are highly engaged in their job, in their work? I know we've talked about this, some of you who we've had discussions on this. What is it? Is it 30%? Somewhere in that neighborhood, are highly or engaged, and the rest are not. So we have to work. We want people who are engaged, and we want to have the kind of culture and and have the teams and the different mechanisms and processes and things in place where people are going to enjoy the work and be engaged. If it's boring, then it's not going to engage people. So we have to be responsible for helping our people be engaged. Okay. Okay, Bree, let's have you read 7, 8, 9, and 10. 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay. Strong, capable, competent leaders worthy of the trust of following them, meaningful work, strong company culture, strong culture immune system.
Okay, so Ted just mentioned that immune system, the strong culture immune system, meaningful work. So do we have meaningful work? What do you guys think? Do we have meaningful work? Okay, some of you are nodding your head. Why? What's meaningful about it? Give me an example.
For me, meaningful, Carrie, is like working with select clients and companies, learning what they're needing, learning, what we have to provide for them, just really learning their ins and outs. And once we determine we can provide that, I feel we have that meaningful work. It's like, it gives you that drive. You want to succeed. You want to be motivated for them. So I kind of take, that away, and that's for me meaningful work.
Okay, good. Ashley just threw her little statement up there. Thank you. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with Ashley there. It's like I think it's a big focus on our clients, because they're our economic engine and that's how we get paid. But a byproduct of that is helping people and gain, gainful employment through our platform or through our companies. So that brings a lot of meaning, a lot of purpose, and a mission to help this workforce find the next job opportunity, and it's because of us. So I think that's the big reason why, that's how I find meaning in that.
We have 2 clients.
Mhm.
We can sell all the business we want. If we don't have anybody to go fill it, it doesn't matter. We depend a lot on, on the people we place. And a great, wonderful thing about that is we're helping them find work at the same time. So they're helping us to achieve our goal of increased revenue and that sort of thing, but we are helping them to find work. So it's a great partnership. And I love that. So that's meaningful. Many of you can tell stories just like I can.
We help the people to run into. We help the people to change their life. I mentioned before. Have employees on DHL Curie, and she was homeless. When she coming to also apply with us, I'll tell her, okay, you are open doors to work with us. She with the time than 3-4 months, she give it the best to their position. The supervisor coming to tell me many this person is true that she only she don't have a house, blah blah. Then you hire her directly with DHL because she have a lot of skills. She have a good performance, good attendance, just start to earning more money. She we changed the life for her. She always coming to me and tell me many thank you for giving me the opportunity for work with you guys, because you changed my life.
Yeah. And how many of you have had somebody come back and say, thank you for giving me a position?
Yeah, we have a lot of people. We have a lot of people here on MERS, on all sides. Always they are coming to us to say they have like 2 years, 3 years working with us, still working with us, and they are always, when they have a time, talk to us. Hey, thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to be here, for be part of your family. No problem. Thank you for, for do the best for us and to help to us to achieve our goal.
Yeah. Yeah. Great story. I love that. And that's part of having meaningful work. I can't think of anything more meaningful than helping people find, a career path for themselves and feed their families and get into a home and get a car and whatever that case may be. So it's very, very valuable. Charles? Charles, did you have you have your hand up there? I don't know if that was, did you just raise your hand because I was asking? We can't hear you. You're on mute. Okay. Okay. Let's go to 11, 12, 13, 14. Maddie, can you read that for us?
Starting with 11.
Yes, please.
Okay. Fair and competitive pay, see people principles. Respect the individual, listen to them, empower them. We help people be their best at work, in life, and at home.
And number 14.
We provide more opportunities for growth and progression than they could get elsewhere.
What do you think about that, Maddie? Number 14.
I mean, my own personal path, I've been here for 3 years and I feel like I'm promoted every 6 months to a year. So I've had more growth opportunity here than any other company that I can imagine. So I think at least my personal experience, definitely number 14 is true.
Yeah, and it's what we're striving for. Again, this is becoming an employer of choice, and it's not always, easy to get to that level, but that's what we're striving for, and that is part of it. So making sure that we give people opportunities and we help people be their best at work, in life, and at home. But what a wonderful thing, to, again, how meaningful is that? That's very meaningful. Charles, did you have a hand up again? It keeps coming up. Jason?
Yeah, my hand's up. Yeah, so it's funny. I listened to something yesterday. I don't know if you guys know who Ed Mila is, but he's a motivational speaker. But he was talking about McDonald's and what they actually sell. They don't sell hamburgers. They actually sell happiness. You know, they got a clown that's always smiling. Their number one seller is the Happy Meal. And so their company is actually selling and branding happiness, so that when you do go buy a burger or a drink or whatever, you're happy that you're eating that burger. It's just the whole culture of it. And that's what drew me to, you know, us Smart Resources, is the culture. And you guys from day one, and now it's ingrained in me, is the culture. And it starts with us. If we're happy, then we're going to exude that to other people, whether it's our clients, whether it's our employees, whether it's those we're leading. And then because if we're happy, then we're going to try to make others happy. So I think that's what, you know, it's trying to explain here for sure.
Yeah, very good. Good. Kyle?
Yeah, I think opportunities is an interesting word. This is an opportunity, this management training class, to learn and to grow. And one thing I've seen throughout my entire history of SMART, the nearly about 11 and a half years I've been with SMART, is we've always been reading something. We've always been learning together. We always listen to each other's ideas. And I could say that that's not just because of Ted, but that was because of Martesh, who was here before Ted, and Dave. It's been a thing that we've carried with us. Maybe it is because of Ted, but it's a thing that we have always carried with us the entire time through. And I even had an opportunity to work for Coca-Cola, enormous job security, and while I didn't entirely leave SMART, I did check that out for a few months, and I found myself just coming back here because we really do provide enormous learning experiences here. And I'd just say that has held true through multiple leaderships, and it is the culture of the company, not just the leadership here, but it is our culture, and we're creating the next level of leaders to continue this culture. So I just think this training is such a huge opportunity, and these types of things will be why SMART will continually train and develop and enculturate people for years to come, and hopefully forever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And I love that that's been our background for, you know, for the whole time. And it started, you know, a long time ago. So we can be proud of that. And I think that's, you know, again, part of what we want to strive to continue to build upon as we're striving to do with this management training program to help develop, you know, our leaders and our managers and our coaches. Thank you for your comments, both of you. All right, Shane, can you read 15, 16, 17, 18? So 15 through 18, please.
Absolutely. We keep plenty of runway in front of our people, so they always have room to grow. Hire the best, get great people, give them something to do, succeed, get more great people, search for even bigger things to do. Virtuous cycle. Sorry. Transparency. We are all in the know, and be an industry leader, innovation, results, etc.
Okay. So Shane, what does 15 mean?
We're giving people, it ends with it, right? So they always have room to grow. Give them a clear definition of what it is that we want to do. Give them the direction, and let them succeed. Let them go. Let them figure it out and how to do it to the best of their ability, and then be there to support them and coach and counsel and help everywhere we can.
Yeah, we don't ever want to have our people outgrow us. You know, we want to always, you know, be ahead of that, so that we're always helping with the development, and that they have room to grow, and that they want to stay here. If they outgrow us, and again, they lose interest, they get bored, they don't feel like there's a pathway, they're going to leave. They're going to find that. So we never want to be in that position. So, and I think it's really good to, I like 16, hire the best, get great people, give them something to do, succeed, get more great people, give them something to do, succeed. This is the whole process, and we have fun doing this along the way. We develop wonderful relationships and great opportunities. We always try to be transparent in what we do as well, and I think that's really, really important for us to make sure that we're heading in that right direction. So, all right, let's see. Maria, are you talkable? I noticed she was on here.
I'm here.
Okay. Do you want to read 17, 18, 19, and we'll end with 19, 17, 18, and 19.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, sorry. Not those. 19, 20, 19 and 20, please. 19 and 20.
Benefits that matter. We have more than transactional relationships. We celebrate, mourn, and play together. We enjoy sharing our lives outside work with each other. We encourage each other and help each other be our best.
Okay. Benefits that matter. What's that? What is that, Maria? Benefits that matter.
It could be what we're doing right now. This is a benefit that matters. We're learning, we're training, we're engaging and growing each other in the company.
Okay. What other benefits, you guys, do we have?
We have health benefits.
Yep.
We have retirement.
Unlimited PTO.
Yeah.
Unlimited PTO. Yep. So all of those are great benefits. We have our, Tribalry program, and there's just lots of cool things, and so that we do have benefits that matter. We transactional. We want transformational relationships. Okay. So we really want to be able to help each other and build those relationships and have meaningful discussions and fun, and just be able to. Some of you are going to be great friends for a long time, even when you're not working together, and that's part of what this is developing those relationships and working together. Nothing better than working with a good friend. I think that's awesome. All right, let's see. Kyle, can I have you read 21 through 23?
We live in a world rich in success, but impoverished in meaning. A life of relentless work without meaning is brutal and dark. We can move towards love of our daily work by building a culture where people depend on people. We will create work that matters. We give back. Strong, robust recruiting, hiring, orientation, onboarding, integration, training.
Yeah, thank you. So how do you feel about that first one, that number 21? That we live in this world sometimes. Do you think you can have love at work? Do you think you can love work and have love at work? You guys feel like those two, that work and love can actually come together? Do you have an example of that? Anybody have an example of how love and work can come together?
I think
Jen?
that we can love our work. I think we can love the people that we work with. I think we can also share our heart and love those that we come in contact with, be it clients or even people at networking events, candidates that come into the office. I think everything that we do should come from love and from our heart. We are in a service industry. We talked about that earlier. We are here to serve people. We're here to serve our community. We're here to serve our clients, each other, and also our employees. So I think that all stems from love.
Yeah, that's good. Very good. First Kyle and then Maria. Kyle?
Yeah, I think we live half of our awake hours, at least half of our awake hours at work. And if we don't have meaning and if we don't enjoy what we're doing for half of our awake hours, that is pretty not good. So I think we need to seek to have meaning at work and have a workplace that we love our work and we love the people we work with. Just like we love our families, which is the other half of our awake hours. And so I think to have meaning in life, we have to have meaning during our awake hours, and a lot of those are at work. And so it is key that we strive to create the environment and for having success in meaning.
Yeah. So, and don't we want to do that for ourselves and the people that we are leading or managing? I mean, this is, I hope that you want to create that for them as well. Maria?
To me, I don't see SMART as a job. It's not just a paycheck I bring home every 15 days because, you know, I love what I do. I love the people I work with. I love the experience that I gain. I love the training that I'm able to participate in. Like this is my career. You know, it's not just a 8 to 5 and after 5 o'clock I'm done. I this is part of who I am, and I appreciate that with SMART.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. That's good. Techie?
Yeah, along with Maria, I mean, it's I believe love at work and loving what you do today is the difference between creating a transactional experience or relationships at work versus transformational. So when you have this idea of love, this idea of patience, and this idea of we're here to back each other up, and it shows the most in those places of even conflict. We don't always agree with our coworkers or anything like that, but this idea that in this space we have a really good space to share who we are and to be able to build strong relationships, the good, the bad, and that will make us stronger and really transform us as individuals to become better. And I think we have an environment here at Smart Resources where we can do that, where we can love the work that we do, but we can also have love at work where we can appreciate those we work with as well and help each other transform our lives and improve ourselves. And we see it through our leadership trainings, these kinds of meetings, and our day-to-day interactions with each other. So,
Yeah, I used to, when I used to do training years ago, one of the sets or part of the program that we used to talk about was, are you creating a life or do you just have a job? Maria just mentioned it's not just a job. You know what job is? Just over broke. That's what a job is. So do you just have a job, or are you creating a life for yourself? And are you helping others create a life for themselves? I love the fact that we can have that kind of a company, that it's not just about revenue. I mean, we have to have that economic engine so that we can continue to have these types of situations where we're creating great things for our people. And I love that. I love that. Okay. Let's see. Manuel. Will you read 1 and 2 of what does team member development look like? Read 1 and 2 for us, will you?
Smart University and Managers Mentors.
Okay, and A?
A, every employee will have 14. A coach, the manager, a mentor, someone other the coach, agree upon learning objectives with their managers and be engaged with Smart University and Sunway.
Okay, thank you. So what is Smart University? What is it? What does it
We
mean?
do
What
right
does it
now.
mean? What's that? Say that again, Manuel.
That we do right now, Smart University, learning, managers mentor, that for everybody, when say something, we learning from each of what we have right now in the meeting. When they
Yeah.
participate, we learning.
Right. Right. It's about learning and development. And I think some people have, we've heard about it. Yeah, it hasn't been kind of expanded, at certain points, but you've heard about it. But I mean, we really want to be a part of the university, and that we get engaged with this process. Any other thoughts on that? Okay, so again, 4 things, you guys, think about this, 4 things. Every employee will have a coach, a mentor, an agreed upon learning objective with their manager. Learning objective, that's not the outcomes and stuff, for the work job, but a learning objective, and be engaged with Smart University in some way. So as somebody on this call, if you're leading a group of people, you have those 4 keys above: hiring for talent, and then you've got these things. You should be writing these things out. You should take a look at this document and say, are my people, do we have these things going? Is this working the right way? And make sure that we're following that process. Very, very important that we do that. Okay. All right. Scott, can you read 3 and 4 for us under what does team member development look like?
Sure. Start all meetings with culture, modeling by execs. Publish and publicize a poster. What, who, when, how. So Kyle, Joe, Belinda, that's kind of their responsibility. A, distribute documents to team members via email or print. B, consider updating or creating a few posters for offices.
Okay. Scott, sorry. So go to the top section where it says, what does team member development look like here?
Oh, shoot. Sorry, I
And
lost
read-
my way there.
So, no, that's okay. And then read 3 and 4 for that one. Sorry, but thank you. You did a great job on the other one.
No, you just get to hear my beautiful voice more. so.
Yeah, your radio
Yeah,
voice.
you're welcome. Yeah, goal setting and performance accountability. Priority alignment tools.
Okay. Who knows what priority alignment tools are? Okay. We if you don't, we've got to get you engaged in that. That's part of our process. The PATs through our Griffin Hill program. So and setting goals. So people should be setting goals. When we have our sales coaching call, we have a numbers day, and every numbers day is about goal setting. It's about what we achieved last month, and why we did or didn't achieve it, and our goals, and then what are our new goals. We should be having goal setting conversations. The people that we're talking to and leading should be setting goals for themselves. Okay. All right. Let's see. Maddie, let me have you read 5 and 6.
We are lifelong self-directed learners. Career path development, runway, lift, both here and if needed elsewhere because we couldn't provide. Define how does career path work, mostly via number 2 above.
Okay. So we are lifelong self-directed learners. Lifelong self-directed learners. I hope that that's you. I hope that you feel that way. We're reading lots of books. A lot of you are reading multiple books. I've been a very, very avid book reader for many years. I know I have read enough material and gone to enough programs that I could have a PhD in sales. Okay. And so hopefully you are doing the same thing. You're learning and growing and developing. And it's not just, you know, here's the book that we're telling you to read. It's also, hey, I really want to read another book on my own. And, you know, I have a lot of books I'm reading with groups here, but I'm also reading stuff on my own. Sometimes it's confusing because I get them mixed up, but it's the learning stuff. It's all about learning, and whether it's gets confused as to which book it is doesn't really matter to me. It's what I'm learning within that. So we want to continue that process. We're going to end here, and we'll talk a little. We'll kind of cover this at the beginning of the next program. How do we implement these? And just talk a little bit about that next week. I want to leave enough time to share a couple of things. Scott, did you have a comment?
Yeah, just on the last, sorry, the word, we are lifelong self-directed learners.
Yes.
I mean, so I am terrible at reading books. I am not an avid reader. That is not my thing. I'm an accountant for a reason. And I think that's kind of one of those things where you say, it ties back to we are curious. That being said, I love to problem solve. I love to not, I hate not knowing things. So I will go and figure and study, and I will figure things out that way as things arise. So I think a lot of that is problem solving. I think a lot of that is not just being content, like saying, no, I don't know what that is. That's not my problem. You know, go talk to Joe. Joe will probably figure it out for you. And I don't think that that's who we need to be. I think what we need to be is, no, let me help you with that. Let me help you figure that out. I'll get my hands dirty. I will put myself in a position where I will learn, and I think that that's part of it. I don't think it's just books. I think it's coupled with the tenacity of just going and getting things figured out and understanding or learning what the next step is.
Yeah. I think that's perfectly good to say that. It's not just books. You know, there's seminars, there's classes, there's, you know, being mentored and learning from a mentor, and getting in and learning through, you know, just digging into something. You know, my dad was an amazing mechanic. He could listen to a car drive down the road, and he could tell you what needed to be fixed on that car. But you know, he first, when he was 14 years old, he got a car and tore the engine completely apart and put it all back together again. And that was his beginning. So he learned that by tearing the engine apart and putting it all back together. So good point. I think that's, you know, that's a very important part of it. Yeah, Techie.
And along with Collins, I mean, Shane and Scott here, I mean, one thing I like to do is, you know, the things you learn has to be executed on. Sometimes if you just focus on the learning aspect of things, it's you sometimes give yourself a false sense of productivity, and you avoid doing the actual work. So I'm a big fan of, you know, a big fan of learning is the foundational principle, but also reading. But I just have to keep a fine balance between learning and then actually applying what I'm learning and executing on a day-to-day. So that's kind of the way I like to do things.
Yeah, it's very important to apply it. So some of my favorite sales books, they were very small. Steven Schiffer is his name, really thin books. The chapters were like, you know, 2 pages long. And I loved it because I would learn something about a sales technique, and then I would go out and practice it. Okay, I would immediately go out that day because I could read this, you know, the 2-page chapter, and then I would go out and practice that item for the day and see how it worked. And some things worked for me and some things didn't. But I loved that, and I loved being able to share that with people and say, look, you know, it's not just reading, it's the applying the knowledge, because knowledge is powerful, but applied knowledge is really, really powerful. And that's what we want, is applied knowledge. That's why we're learning here, you guys. And it's going to play, this is segue wonderfully into this last piece, which is, please write down 3 things that you learned today, and then how you're going to apply what's your action plan for applying some of those? What's 3 things you learned today? Write that down, type it in, mark it in, write it in, however you're going to do it. 3 things that jumped out to you today, and what's your action plan to apply something this week, this next week? Shane, what's one thing you jumped out to you today? Whoops, you're on mute. Sorry, there you go.
When you were talking about something you love at work, it was a little weird at first, right? Because it's kind of an HR nightmare when you say something like that. I'm over watching Kyle and he's cringing when you're like, do you love work? Do you love at work? I had put something on there that I've got this, this saying that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And, something like that really does stand out. I question, not all the time, but staffing's tough. I bring it up a lot, and I always say to people is, look, we never really have big wins. We have to celebrate the little wins, and we have to focus on the positive, because there's always so much negative in our world. We get an order for 10 people, 8 out of 10 show up, and what does the client do? Client complains about the 2 people that didn't show up, right? We can't focus on that negative. We have to go back and we have to focus on the 8 people that did and what went right. Right? We have to address the bad things that happen, but we never want to linger on those. That's really what stood out to me.
Okay. Arturo, how about you?
I am the same boat with Shane, is why we do these things that we're doing every day, as Kyle mentioned, pretty much mostly of the time that we're awake, we're at work. And if we don't love where we are, why are we there? And I think it's the passion that we have for doing this thing every day, over and over and over, and ensure that we can push for more and more and more.
Yeah, good. Mariah, how about you?
Yeah, mine were kind of in like the same boat. I really liked when we were talking about like having meaning and doing meaningful work, and kind of just like putting purpose into what we do. And I like how it tied together with loving what you do. So those 2 ideas were my big takeaway too.
Yeah. So again, now think about what the action steps would be for you this next week. How are you going to apply those things? How are you going to apply love at work, or making sure that there's meaning? Think about the things you learned today. How are you going to apply those things you learned? The 4 keys, okay? Making sure that, that people have learning opportunities. How are you going to apply those? So these are all very, very powerful things that we're learning, but we've got to learn to apply them as well. We've learned so much. We've learned a lot. And so it's really important for us to make sure we have a way of starting to break it open into pieces, take a piece at a time and start developing that. So for next week, we are going to we'll finish off this document and kind of go through that last piece. Will take us a few minutes. Then we'll get into Smart Truth number 3, which you need to go in and read chapter number 1 and first break all the rules. We will be discussing again more in depth about the Q12 chain. We've already taken the Q12 thing in class, but we will be talking about the Q12 more in depth. I'm gonna have Joe working with me on this. But again, chapter 1, first break all the rules, is your reading assignment for this coming week. And then we'll kind of take it from there. Any questions on that? Hey, well,
Hey,
thank you
Carrie?
so, yes,
Karen,
Shantae.
really quickly, I just wanted to mention that someone on this call has a very special birthday today.
Who's that?
Today is Mariah's 21st birthday.
Ooh, 21. Well,
Congratulations, Mariah.
yes.
Happy birthday.
So are you guys going out and having some fun later on?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
Good. Well, happy birthday to you. I would suggest we all sing, but I'm not sure how that would work on this call, but you have our best wishes to you, and have a great day. So thank you. All right, you guys, have a great weekend. We'll catch you all next week, and make sure you read the chapter. So take care. Talk to you later.
Goodbye.